Hello everybody, good evening and welcome into Dog Zone. Ahead on the show tonight, we look back to Saturday night and the Greyhound Racing Awards for the 2018-2019 season. We also look back at the preludes that took place last week. They were 3 for the Cup and 3 for the Galaxy. And we also look forward to the prelude and for the Galaxy and the Cup coming up this week at Addington. So plenty to get through. Mark Rosanowski joins us as per usual here on Dog Zone. Rosso, Saturday night certainly was a good night put on by GRNZ, and Te Papa was a nice place to have it.
Certainly was, and I just thought it was a really nice environment. It was a feel-good night. Obviously, the awards have come relatively late in the year. We're well into the next season now, but it was good to celebrate the Greyhounds from that previous season, 2018-19, and some of those performances do seem a long time ago. But I think what I enjoyed most about it, Andy, was the number of people from particularly the Diddley Syndicate, also Nature's Gent, a couple of the finalists. There were 5 finalists, of course, for the New Zealand Greyhound of the Year. I think there were 16 from the syndicate at Diddley. And talking to some of them, it reminded me of just some of the beauty of racing greyhounds and just how it can inspire people into a sport they never thought they'd be part of. But ultimately, Andy, Dinah Wesleyan was named Greyhound of the Year. She was the dominant stayer, 2-time Group 1 winner and also Group 1 second. But when you look through Nature's Gent, Diddley, Trojan Horse, Thrilling Talk, and remembering that Dinah Dave wasn't even there, what a stellar season we had.
It was super. 5 finalists for that, and any one of those 5 could have won it, and it would have been no surprise there. In terms of the Hall of Fame, Rosso, good to see Winsome Ashley finally get inducted into that, and still kicking, as Jean told us on the night, so good to see her in the Hall of Fame when she's still with us.
Yeah, fabulous. 4-time Group 1 winner in a season where she didn't win Greyhound of the Year, which is the biggest travesty in 30 years that I've been involved, because that year it was a points system. It was quite absurd. But anyway, she's in the Hall of Fame now without winning the Greyhound of the Year. So finally she's got her recognition. Of course, still holds the track record at Manukau. Lisa Cole, Trainer of the Year, and Karen Walsh, Strike Rate Trainer of the Year. We already knew that, of course, but what outstanding seasons they had again. Emma Potts was named the Youth Award, and she's really making a name for herself in the North as a young trainer. Advocate of the Year, Andy, you're a finalist, and congratulations for that. Jenny Bartlett taking that out, hotly contested category. She's the president of the Waikato Club, and she thoroughly enjoyed just being a finalist, and I think was quite shocked to win, but she deserved that. You and Paul Freeman deserved to be finalists there. And Breeder of the Year, well, that went to Lisa Cole over Gary Cleve and Galen Turmold and Opawa Racing. And Andy, when you think about those operations and how tight that award could have been too, and of course the smaller breeders that are breeding some really nice dogs and some fabulous litters at the moment, I really do believe the New Zealand breds at the moment are about as strong as I can ever recall.
Yeah, certainly is good times in terms of New Zealand breds, as you said. For those who want to have a look at the GRNZ Awards, they will be aired on TAB Trackside 1 next Monday evening, so you'll be able to go back and have a look at the night and the award winners and hear some of those speeches that did take place. Right, time now to move back to last week in the running of the New Zealand Cup Preludes, the Christchurch Casino New Zealand Cup Preludes, and the first of them took place at Addington Raceway last Thursday. This one taken out by Start the Show. The inside, Red Ruggy was able to use the rail, drive through and grab the lead, so good from him, Rozzo, but pleasing to see Avenger Bale back in form as well.
Yes, certainly. Look, Start the Show form runner. He's won 4 of his last 5 for Ray Adcock. He knows what it takes to prepare a dog at this level for so many decades now. It's remarkable, and this dog's right in the zone. As you say, with Avenger Bale, he'd been unlucky the week before. He'd shown us a good sign the week before that, and a really game effort from him. Now, we talk about Nature's Gent winning 2 years ago and how remarkable it is that he's back for another attempt this year. Well, Avenger Bale, of course, started favourite in that particular race, and he was a very young dog at the time. He ended up 4th, and he got knocked out in the heats last year. He's gone on to win a Group 1 distance race, so it's terrific again to see him, Nature's Gent, still around and still able to take on the young dogs that we've got coming through in this upcoming series, Sandy. And with these preludes, I've talked to a few people during the week who think these preludes are A, a good idea clearly for the travelling trainers, B, They do create quite a bit of buzz about the Cup and Galaxy a fair way out, which of course is important because at this time of the year it's hard to get oxygen in the racing scene with all the big races that are going on.
It's now time to move to Wanganui and have a look at the prelude that took place there. This one taken out by the speed merchant Big Time Cooper. He's the pink rug, box number 8, as usual, early speed straight to the lead and too strong for them here. But, gee, Rozzo, nice run in second from Big Time Maple. She's relatively inexperienced and took a fair bit of ground off him in the run home.
She doesn't turn 2 until January. She is 7 from 14 now because she's had another go since this and ran second on Monday. Look at her close off here. We know that Cooper staggers a bit up the straight, but it's been a magnificent performance from her. They ran 30.10 overall, and apart from the 30.05 that Cooper ran in the Group 1 Wanganui Cup, they're just not running times like that at the moment. So for Maple to close off like that and have dogs like Rod and Nature's Gent in behind. Now, to be fair, Rod and Nature's Gent were pretty badly affected going to the bend. But that's the beauty of Cooper. Look, there'll be plenty who say, look, he's not going to be strong enough at Addington, and maybe that'll turn out to be the case. But he has to go there. He has to go there, Andy. He's just got such incredible early speed. We say box speed is gold. This dog has it in spades. And he's just simply going to make this series very exciting.
He certainly is. He deserves his place down here at Addington. There's no doubt about that. The last 10 or 20 metres may find him out here at Addington Raceway, but gee, he's going to put a gap in them to the back mark, and if he can cop the track and use the camber to his advantage, then he could be a fair way in front of them and giving them all something to chase for a long, long way. Right, now time to move to Manukau and the prelude coming out of there. Robson went around as a fairly short-priced favourite here. He was the dog in the white rug of box number 3, but all honours here, Rozzo, to Dig, the black rug box number 7, who potentially is one of the most improved greyhounds running around in the country.
Oh, without a doubt, and congratulations to Sean O'Neill. And Andy, I think you might be on the breeder's ticket here. This is an extraordinary performance from Dig, who, as you say, had improved out of sight. I still, having said that, didn't rate the dog in this particular race and thought that it would be obviously a 3-4 finish. Well, it certainly wasn't, was it? And Robson, who many would consider a leading candidate, of course, for the New Zealand Cup, and I certainly do, not able to make the top 2 and go through. Grunt holding down second, and it copped a fairly decent check early as well. Now, with Robson, he will race tomorrow, Thursday, at Cambridge, and obviously Peter Ferguson will evaluate how he has done through that, but at this stage, looking obviously to go to Christchurch, but now they have to go that extra trip, Andy, and that was unfortunate because the extra trip for the Travellers is probably only good if you haven't raced there before, but of course Robson has, so they're going to have to do it the hard way. Interesting race, interesting result, but you can't take anything away from the winner because ran a very solid time, did it from the front, and while other dogs got into trouble, that is greyhound racing. And now Dig, we're going to see shortly too in heats of a Group 1 Stayers race at Wanganui this week, Andy, so remarkable stuff for Sean O'Neill and his team.
Yeah, it certainly is. He certainly got him ticking along well, has Sean there with Dig. Right, in terms of the preludes for the Cup, there is another one to take place at Addington this coming Thursday where we get to see Dinah Dave go around. He comes up as your $2.20 favourite. Start the show in the market $3.60. Opawa Deal, the youngster, just lining up for start number 20 on Thursday. He's at $5, and Dinah Varsity, who was a fast finishing third in last week's prelude, comes up as an $8 chance. We're going to take you back to have a look at Dinah Dave. This is him finishing second in the Waterloo Cup. He's off the pink rug of box number 8. And Rozzo, to be fair, the way this field maps, a beginning like this might be the best thing he can do.
It could be, couldn't it? Because Bahama Queen drawn in the middle there looks like it could be an issue for the 2 favourites. Start the show and Dinah Dave. And like you say, Dinah Dave might be better off in behind them. And a little bit similar, I guess, to when he won the New Zealand branch of the Nationals. I mean, look at his performance to get up for second here. And just another reminder of how good Robson is, winning that very well. And Dinah Dave picking his way through the traffic for second. But like you say, if he makes one of his better jumps and he's sort of parked 3 out with, let's say, Bahama Queen start the show to its outside and Dinah Dave, things might open up for a dog like Opawa Deal there, Andy, who's one of many impressive young New Zealand breds that are on the way up. Certainly hoping that won't be the case and that the 2 favourites get a clear run there. But an average beginning from Dinah Dave might work out quite nicely, as you say. I think on the night, Andy, I might be maybe looking bet-wise to just see what they're offering top 3 for Dinah Varsity.
Yeah, gee, hit the line well last week, didn't he? He came from the clouds on the home turn, run past a strong greyhound as well in the form of Gold Star Sydney. So certainly a nice run from him. And if he can get a nice run around that first turn as well, then he's going to be hitting the line late in the piece. Well, in terms of preludes, we also had the running of the Galaxy Preludes take place last week as well. Again, the first of those from Addington Raceway. This one taken out by Peter Ramos, a greyhound in the gold rug of box number 5. And Rozzo, something we say fairly often on the show in greyhound racing, box speed is gold, and that's certainly one of this race.
And especially in the gold rug, a magnificent performance there off the lids, and it was such an even market and race. Ginger Alley got to the line very nicely, Andy. You taking much out of that? Obviously, dogs that can jump fast are going to get through the first round, maybe the second, and well, once you make the final, anything is possible. We've talked about it so far. The Galaxy does look so wide open. Most years it does, but this year even more so, I think.
Yeah, it certainly does. I don't think we saw the better Canterbury sprinters go around in there, but as you say, Peter Ramos with that early speed, she could certainly put herself in the race, and a couple in behind there, dogs like Versailles with ability out of the Dunn team, and he can be just a little bit slow early, but he does have ability, and he has a nice time next to his name as well, so he's potentially a chance if he can get clear air through the heats and semis of the Galaxy. Right, now time to move to Hattrick Raceway and the running of the Galaxy Prelude from there. This one taken out by Big Time Shear, box number 6 for her. Rozzo, Sir Dougie went around and so did Fantastic Amy as favourites. Dougie in a fresh state wasn't bad. Amy getting home late for second, but she wasn't able to catch the leader in Big Time Shear. Yeah,
Big Time Shear's from this Brett Lee Shear mislitter, and some tricky customers in there like Big Time Shadow. Big Time Thor is another. The Big Time Shear too, and just look at her form line. Very, very difficult to predict, but plenty of ability. As for Sir Dougie, look, he just got overexcited, I think, being fresh up at the races, Andy, and a poor beginning. And he went in his trials, his opening section had been outstanding. His mid-race burn was really good. Still good to see that speed, and of course he battled the concluding stages. He's come through the race fine. He is better for that. He's got box 1 on Friday, which isn't an ideal draw for him, but the defending Galaxy champion will be heading obviously to defend his title, all going well, and he'll have to go the hard way through the heats. Brendan Cole saying that they're going to take 8 down for the Galaxy and 9 for the New Zealand Cup. So the leading trainers are having a serious dig at the 2 Group 1 features coming up at Addington. It's now time to move on to the final prelude for the Fit Sports Bar Galaxy. This one took place at the Monaco Sports Bowl on Sunday afternoon. The winners could not be split. Dead heating here, Trojan Horse off the 8, the pink rug, and Ashen off the inside in the red. Rozzo Ashen from that tidy little litter, of course that includes Buddy Boom. Does things wrong on the home turn, but gee, she's a speedy little customer. Oh, she is. She covers a bit of extra ground, doesn't she? And she actually tripped, well, not deliberately, but Trojan Horse just tripped off her heels there when she moved out, and he tried to cross in, which might have been the difference in the end, but they shared the win, and due to burn there for Karen Walsh, who'd been an impressive winner the week before, but things did open up for the dog, and again, another moderate beginning in Australia, a much faster beginner than that, so hopefully can find its ability off the lids here, and that will make Due to Burn a pretty competitive sprinter. Trojan Horse looks like quite a nice dog for a race like the Galaxy, Andy. He went down for 520 metres at Addington, and he actually kicked on a bit more strongly than I thought he might. Galaxy's kind of a hard 295, if you like, and he's got sprinting capabilities, and he's got Group 1 performances on the board over the middle distance, so Trojan Horse could make the Galaxy very interesting. Certainly could, and he's finding form at the right time as well, so things could just pan out for him to nail another Group 1 victory there. Speaking of Fitz Sports Bar Galaxy Preludes, there's one more to take place. It's at Addington Raceway on a Thursday evening, 7:32 this will take place. It's race number 11. The favourite comes up, Mustang Tully. First start here in the country for Callum Ware, the ex-Australian, the winner of 24 from 35. Super Over Drama in the market as well, $3.20. He upgrades to Class 5 for his first attempt. He's $3.20. And then you're out to Hankenstein and Floradora, who are both in the market.
Super Over Drama, the one we're going to take you back to have a look at first. This is him winning off the red rug at his last start. He didn't pick the jump as clean as he has been able to do in the past, so capable of running faster than us as well, and he did clock a 17.13, so he comes up against his toughest field, no doubt about that, from an awkward draw of the 7, but certainly a talented young greyhound on his way to some pretty bright things. This is Mustang Tully winning. She's off the black rug of box number 7. She's got some exceptional early speed. As I said, the winner of 24 from 35. I spoke to Callum Ware yesterday. She has had a couple of trials at Addington Raceway, clocking 5.80 for her first split, which, as you all know, that's humming along a little bit. So he's not sure she's quite at her best as yet. 17.20 odd is what she has been trialling overall. She's on her way back from a season, so he's thinking as she makes her way through the series, she should be getting better and better. So hopefully she can pick the jump and make her way through to the final. Greyhound that makes it interesting is Hankenstein off the inside. He does have a tendency to run away from the rail, so all of these greyhounds are going to want to clear him before they get to the first turn, or things could get a little bit ugly into that. So that's a look at the preludes for both the Cup and the Galaxy. It's now time to move to Friday evening, Hattrick Raceway, where we see 2 heats of the Wanganui distance going around. The first of them, race number 8, 7:52 p.m. is when it goes down. But here's a look at the futures market, where Opawa Hillary at 350 is your favourite. And Rosso, it appears to be a market full of a little bit of value there if you do like one.
Yes, well, ones that instantly spring to mind there, Andy. Don't Knock a G at 12, I think is worth the risk. We'll talk more about her shortly. Hot Platter at 9, also with 700 metre form. Hillary on the Cambridge run we're going to look at, you'd rate her highly, not quite so much on the 645 metre run since, and 350 looks maybe a touch skinny. DJ Dynamics is coming in fresh. I did see a sprint trial. He's a brother to Don't Knock a G, but an interesting nomination there. The thing is, Andy, and this is the TAB Wanganui distance this year, it's without dogs like obviously Diana Wesland, Perfect Result, who was a Group 2 winner on the track recently, and big time Chloe, No Corborn Taylor. Things are really open. Good to see we've got 2 full fields of 8, but there are dogs here with some serious question marks.
Yeah, there certainly are. It's an interesting affair. This is heat number 1 here, where we see Hot Platter and Don't Knock a G go around. We've also got Ask King Jeff and the Southerner there, No Anxiety, as well as Mighty Muscle, who's up for the Fahey team. So, interesting affair. Don't Knock a G, the first greyhound we're going to take you back to have a look at. This is her winning her last start, box 3, straight to the lead. And Rosso, I think the biggest thing about this field, there is a distinct lack of early speed, and G just looks a very, very easy leader on paper.
Yes, and look, there's been times in her most recent career, Andy, where she just hasn't looked as strong over 660 metres, but the last few times have been more encouraging, and even the run before this, where she didn't lead but still hung in there for the fight, I think was quite important and encouraging. The other encouraging thing is if we look all the way back to the Sockburn Cup last year at Addington, over 732 metres, she got checked early and she did very well to run 3rd behind Avenger Bale and No Potential, and there were dogs like Perfect Result in behind her there. So look, I don't think they would be going over 755 if they didn't think she was a very real chance, Andy, and like you say, she finds the lead and she'll be feeling it at the back end, but she might put a big hole in this field.
She certainly could. One of her hardest rivals on paper looks to be Mighty Muscle. He comes up with box number 6 for this. This is him winning at Addington over the 645 metres. Black and white stripes of box number 2. He's a greyhound who has a real lack of early speed. He does like to use the rail a little bit, Mighty Muscle, so an awkward draw for him. And first up at Hattrick Raceway is never easy, but Rosso, the way he finds the line here, and he beats some pretty handy dogs here in doing it as well, he has to be some sort of chance come Friday evening.
Yes, he does. Talking to Dave Fahey about him at the weekend, and he's one with question marks around him. And by that, I don't mean question marks, why is it there? Or it's really about, okay, 755 metres for the first time, on balance on what we've seen twice over 645 metres, we're going to give the tick, but it's never that easy, and we know that. And when they start running over that distance and the lactic acid builds up and they hit the wall very much like a human being. I used to run 400 metres, and I'll tell you what, the last 50 metres were killers, and I wasn't bad over 350, but 400 was a different thing, and that can happen with the greyhounds quite markedly, as you know, Andy. One thing I want to mention in this heat is Hot Platter. Group 1 place. We actually had a Wanganui distance earlier in the year in March, and this is the second Wanganui distance for the year because they've decided to move the race to try and spread the Group 1 races a bit more evenly. So we're going to have 2 Wanganui distance races through the year. Now, she ran third in the one in March behind Corborn Taylor and Dinah Wesleyan. And since then, she ran second in a heat of the Wanganui Stayers at Group 2 level behind Big Time Chloe. And she was sixth in the final, but she had box 8, which is just no good to her at all, Andy. So I think she is one who does have some credentials over the 755 and might be worth a look into that futures market.
Heat number 2 for the Wanganui distance will be race number 9 on the card at 8:23. Here's a look at the field for you. Gold Star Sydney comes up with the red. A lot of talk comes up with box number 2, Dig Dig Dig, who we saw win a prelude at Auckland a little earlier in the 3. Then you've got Opawa Hillary, pre-post favourite, out of box number 5. A lot of talk. The first greyhound we're going to take you back to have a look at. This is him winning the Kingston Cup. Has the red rug on this occasion. Box number 1, Rozzo. Funny greyhound, we know, but this was impressive. He also won on Tuesday at Addington over 520 metres, which is something we haven't seen from him in the past. But the big question mark has to be Wanganui, because I know it was his first look, but the last time he ventured up there, he was fairly average.
Oh, he was. I couldn't believe he didn't qualify. I think he was 5th or 6th in the end. Andy, and what I'm wondering here as we have a look at this with Opawa Hillary chasing and Gold Star Sydney, and they're in this race as well. What I'm wondering, and speaking again to Dave Fahey at the weekend, the Whistler on the lure at Addington is maybe doing the job for this dog. Now, he had box 1 there and he is 5 from 5 there, so that's something, and he doesn't get box 1, but at least he gets box 2. If he put in another really rank performance, then I would say the Whistler at Addington is having a huge influence on this dog there and maybe not elsewhere, but we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He's got to be some sort of chance there. Andy, we're about to have a look at one of the best performances I've seen in a while, just in terms of a dog not getting her own way, but being able to find a way to win. And it was Opawa Hillary, and she's 3 wide here going into the first bend, and she had to pick her way through traffic and she finished them off, and it wasn't a bad field of stayers here. Look at her getting flushed out wide there. What I'd say about this though, Andy, as we watch this, if she hadn't raced at Addington over the 645, I'd say, man, is she a big chance, and maybe 350 okay as the backup bet while you're backing others at longer odds for a bit of fun. But I'm a bit concerned about that run last week, Andy, and I'm wondering where you think she's at.
Yeah, that 645 certainly puts big question marks around Opawa Hillary, no doubt about that. At her best, if she can cross from that awkward draw, certainly a chance. Thought the run from the second dog there, Gold Star Sydney, was good as well. That was her first look around Cambridge and relatively inexperienced on a one-turn track. She has had a couple of looks at Hattrick Raceway, slots into the red. She should get a relatively uninterfered run throughout, so she has to be accorded some kind of chance there in heat number 2. Well, it's now time to head across the Tasman, and the running of the $1 million chase that took place last Friday was taken out by Good Odds Harada, the black and white stripes of box number 2. And Rozzo, he now becomes the latest entrant into the $1 Million Club.
Yes, indeed. And as the second running of this particular race, and New South Wales dogs have won it twice, holding out to Victorian Shimmer Shine. Get it Gizmo off the inside third. There was quite a strong push for that dog in the market. Black Opium missing the start and getting back in the gold rug and missing out again in a Group 1. Extremely fast time, one of the fast times around Wentworth Park, and that's why he was able to hold off such a good field there. Amazing crowd, amazing atmosphere. I've spoken to people who were there on the track on the night, and I think fabulous too, Andy, that Good Odds Harada for Frank and Tracy Hurst. They've been in greyhound racing for a long time, certainly not fly-by-nighters. Tracy owns the dog. And the other thing from our perspective, I think, is this dog ran second in the Nationals in Perth. Lead got run down by the local dog. Okay, a few links behind, but not that far behind was our very own Dinah Dave. And now Good Odds Harada has won $1 million chase off the back of that. Hasn't been beaten since then. and flew in a heat of the Goulburn Cup during the week as well. So I think we take a little bit out of that as well on good odds Harada versus Dinah Dave back at the Nationals.
Also on Friday evening over there at Wentworth Park, they did have the running of the Sydney Cup. Of course, this is where Dinah Wesland was heading before she came in season and has since been retired. The winner of this Boom Down, he's the greyhound in the white rug of box number 3. And Rosso, he is just phenomenal here, to be fair. He runs past some very, very talented stayers, and just the way he did it, he found some early trouble after a slow beginning. It's just a phenomenal performance from him.
Yes, this makes staying racing what it is. There's Blue Moon Rising going to the lead. Mrs. M Grand, incidentally, who led and ran third, is a sister to M Grand Park and M Grand Rose we have here in New Zealand. M Grand Park expected to be a key figure in the New Zealand Cup Series. But look at this finish here, and running down an odds-on favourite there. Look, for the people there on track, and it was a huge crowd that made a lot of noise, Andy, and I can only imagine that there were a lot of casuals there, or even people that may not have been ever before. To see a performance like that in a distance race like that, I think can only be good for encouraging people into the sport, or wanting to go back and seeing it as purely even a spectator sport as much as anything.
Yeah, certainly is promising in terms of greyhound racing. There's no doubt about that, and the only thing we can do is mean that that's a good thing for greyhound racing. Right, last week's bets. Blake Stothart gets the prize. He went 2 from 3. Philippa Morris getting 1 from 4 home with a couple of placings as well. Rosso, both you and I, a big swing and a miss.
Well, Andy, unless you had 10,000 on Fantastic Amy top 3, I'm afraid I put you badly crook last week, and I apologise. So, I've ditched all the fun names left, and I've gone downgrade. Big Time Stella, race 1, number 5 at Hattrick on Friday. The Black Book Tap Out Bill. Good Quinella there with Blaze and Carter. Should be a good battle. They were both unlucky in that race. Idle Nifty the Improver. Big Time shines in box 1 there, and I don't think that's going to suit her. So I think Nifty, who is Galaxy bound, I understand. Big Time Tina, we go to Manawatu Monday. Very unlucky last Monday. Big Time Kiss, I'm happy to go again because I think she'll find the lead. She couldn't get around Big Time Frosty Monday. And M Grand Rose gets the inside draw. Got home with a shoulder injury last time, Andy, last week after getting a bump early. What about Philippa Morris this week? It's my fancy. Well, it's fancy in race number 3 on meeting code 3 at Cambridge, zipping Gabby off the 1 in the following race 4, and we look to Manukau on Sunday and aiming to win. Amy, meeting code 9, race 9.
Yeah, that's where Philippa's looking. Here's where Blake Stothart's looking. The Improver, Oster Bale. Thursday at Addington comes up with box number 2. Then to Friday at Addington, Mitcham Trudy comes up with the Red Rug. And Doomsday goes around in the last, the Get Out Stakes. He comes up with box number 2. I found a little bit hard this week. I'll go Dart Test. She's certainly overdue a winning turn. There's no doubt about that. And sorry to Ellie Lee and Merv O'Brien there. Shatina Tin. So I'm sticking with the Ellie Lee team. And the form I was in last week, that's probably not a good thing, but gee, he was unlucky last week, Tinny, and he should be pretty hard to beat come Thursday night. Well, that's all we've got time for here on Dog Zone. Rosso, thanks very much for joining us once again as the road to the Cup is well and truly underway.
It certainly is, Andy. Thoroughly looking forward to all of the preludes, well, the preludes and the other races that aren't preludes that are going to have a significant influence on those upcoming heats down there at Addington. Daryl Robinson to call the heats on Friday night of the TAB Wanganui distance, and I'll be back in the chair next week.
Thank you for that, Rosso. We'll catch you next week. We'll be back next week with more reviews and previews of greyhound racing from around the country. But until then, happy punting.